welcome to CapChat. CapChat is the show that connects you to the faces, voices, and stories of CapFam. We help you tap into CapFam, the network of thousands working together to help each other succeed. I'm one of your co-hosts, John Honecker.
I'm another one of your co-hosts, Mary Claire Kunkel.
And we have two amazing guests with us today. Go ahead and introduce yourselves and tell us where you're from.
Brandi Braun. I am originally from Hilliard, Ohio. I now live in German Village.
Ooh.
I am a 2003 graduate of Capital University,
Ooh.
and I currently serve as the Deputy Innovation Officer for the City of Columbus.
Man, that is, your plaque on your desk is huge.
Super, super huge.
I love it.
I am Jennifer Patterson. I am originally from Martins Ferry, Ohio. I am the Vice President for Advancement here at Capitol, which is all of the fundraising and alumni relations activities. And I've been at Capitol for about 7 years.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So today we're going to be talking about not just Capitol, but the unique location that Capitol is in. It's in a capital city. It's seated in a tiny town called Bexley that's seated perfectly in this bustling, amazing metropolitan area of Columbus, easy access and great transportation to a lot of really cool things. And we're going to be discussing all those wonderful attributes. So you guys ready?
Sure.
Ready.
No, we don't have any theme music. We're just going to get started. So let's jump right into it. Brandi, if you don't mind going first, let's talk a little bit about your career and getting to where you got and the cool things about Columbus that you are really excited about.
All right. Well, I would say some of the cool things about Columbus are what kept me here, what was part of my decision to stay local and go to Capital University, that Columbus is a great city. It has, not to sound cliche, but it has big city amenities, but also a nice small town feel and charm to it.
Wow,
and that has only grown in the, I don't know, whatever number of years it is since I have graduated. I don't want to say, but so my journey to date is, like I said, I graduated in 2003, studied political science and criminology, and I have spent the past 16 years working in state and local government.
Oh, wow.
And interestingly enough, the position I held at the state I had because I was recruited by one of my fellow Capitol graduates.
Huh.
Andre Porter was named the director of the Ohio Department of Commerce. We had worked together as student leaders in student government at Capitol, and he called me up and asked me to join his team to lead strategic initiatives. So it was great to work with someone who I knew so well through college, and we had worked together and knew each other. And so it's just amazing. Like, that was a great life lesson for me, in that the people you meet and work with, whether it's from a student leadership perspective, an internship, or your full-time job, you never know where your next opportunity or career pivot is going to come from.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
Yeah.
Can you dive a little bit more into small town feel, big city? What did I say it again? Small town feel, big
city amenities.
Yes.
I love
Thank
it.
you. Thank you.
So,
I mean, I think Columbus has a phenomenal cultural fabric that underpins it, whether it's the symphony, the Columbus Jazz Orchestra, festivals.
Hamilton was just here.
Hamilton was just here. It blew up my entire social feed. All my friends going to it.
I have not
leaving
seen
me
it.
out.
Yeah,
I wish.
I'm in the minority there, I think, or I haven't listened to the soundtrack either.
Yep.
But so we have some wonderful big city amenities, whether it's our cultural feel, the shopping, the food, the vibrancy of the city, our transit system, which, while it may not be where some people want it to be, we have leaders in our transit area that are working to reinvent our public transit system and make sure we're meeting the needs of people today. But also, Columbus is small enough where you can still have a really strong network, that it's easy to know a lot of people. Everyone is still very friendly. And it's our brand is we're known for being open and smart. And I think you really see that in the behaviors, attitudes, and actions of everyone who lives and works here.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It is awesome.
C-Bus pride right now is like strong.
Yeah.
So I would love to hear a little bit about what you are involved in, career, Jennifer, and going through that, and how Columbus is amazing as well.
Sure. And I'd love to start by building on what Brandi said. Professional sports here. I mean, how amazing to be in a town with 2 professional teams, one of which is very close to playoff contention, the Blue Jackets, and the Columbus Crew has made the playoffs the last 2 years with men's soccer. So that is just, to me, great fun. And the Memorial Golf Tournament here, which brings some of the best golfers in the world to Columbus. I think that's fantastic. Yeah. Marathons that are here, film festivals. So anyway, I could just go on.
Thank you for building on my list, by the way. I was struggling there.
I could go on forever. But, you know, I am not a CapGrad, but I've worked at Capitol for 7 years. And one of the things that keeps me here is, first and foremost, really the warmth of the school. I always joke that after I'd worked here for about 2 weeks, if my car broke down in Cleveland, there were probably 50 people that would come get me at 3 o'clock in the morning. And I mean, that's no joke. And I've worked at other schools, and it is just not like that other places. I really mean that.
Right.
And the city of Columbus is amazing. You know, the state capital. We are the state capital, and we like to say that we're recession-proof because of that.
Woo-woo.
And building again on what Brandi said, I mean, the judges and number of public officials here in town that have Capitol ties, I mean, it's almost impossible to enumerate because it is so deep and wide. So the CapFam, that network, is real. It's powerful. Some of the coolest businesses in town have been founded or led by Cap alums. Hubbard Grill, which is my favorite restaurant in town, owned by a Capitol alum. Homage, the T-shirt and athletic wear company.
Yeah, Homage is making big strides lately. They're growing by leaps and bounds in the apparel business.
Has Cap ties. Hot Chicken Takeover, Cap ties.
Hot Chicken Takeover, if you've never had Hot Chicken Takeover, you haven't had spicy chicken until you've had Hot Chicken Takeover. And the owner is actually in charge of a really cool hiring process for
people who are re-entering the workforce.
Yeah. So it's really cool opportunities for them, and I mean, it's a really cool community. If you're into hot chicken, but also is really hot.
Well, but mac and cheese, their sweet tea. I mean, you really can't go wrong there. I don't think.
It's really good.
But I cut you off. I didn't know.
So we have, Capitol has CEO or executive level or founder level people at huge companies. Columbia Gas, MI Homes, those are just a couple of examples here in town.
Wow.
Caesar's Palace in Las Vegas and all over the world. One of the highest level executives there is a Cap alum. And then big advertising agencies and law firms here in Columbus, in New York City, Madison Avenue, and LA movie houses.
Wow.
Have Cap alums at some of the highest levels. So it's just a marvelous family to be a part of.
I have a question about that. So I'm a Capitol student, and if I don't want to stay in Columbus after graduation, is that possible? Like, will that network extend out so that if I move to New York City to pursue like writing and that sort of thing, will there still be that connection there?
Indeed. In fact, to formalize that connection, the Alumni Relations Office, in collaboration with Career Services here at Capitol, is rolling out a formal mentorship program that is an online platform, so you don't have to rely on staff to connect you. Alumni opt in, students opt in, and you can connect with alums and students who are in the area of the country you're interested in and in the industry you're interested in.
That's awesome.
So you will hear more about that. The product is called Wiser, and a lot of schools, big and small, public and private, have signed contracts with this company, and they have found it to really be transformational in terms of career development and alumni engagement. And we are really psyched about it.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
That's great. Brandi, I want to hear a little bit about what is Smart Columbus.
Well, there's a few different ways I could answer that. The first and foremost, the city of Columbus in 2016 was named the U.S. Department of Transportation Smart City Challenge winner. So in 2015,
Go us.
Yes, it's a huge thing to celebrate. It was a huge point of pride at the time, and should be and continues to be. So there are a lot of disruptions or changes happening in certain industries and sectors, particularly around transportation and technology and where those two things intersect. The U.S. Department of Transportation saw that. They knew that cities are on the front lines of being able to leverage those kinds of technology disruptions to improve the quality of life for their residents. So they did something pretty unique for the federal government. They issued they crowdsourced this challenge and challenged mid-sized cities across the country to come up with their most innovative, thoughtful, forward-thinking ideas around how they would take this $50 million grant portfolio and implement it in a way to improve the quality of life for their residents.
Okay.
Columbus was one of 78 cities that applied, and we were named the winner in 2016.
Whoa.
Yes. It's very and now I work with the team that is implementing those two grants that we won as part of that challenge. And the grant projects specifically these are research dollars for the most part.
Okay.
So we are doing pilots or demonstration projects to learn about some of these very cutting edge technologies or mobility services to learn about how they work, what works well, what doesn't, and then use those learnings to figure out what we want to scale through the rest of our city and also share with cities across the country. So as part of that, a great example of what we recently launched is the state's first self-driving shuttle is downtown. It's called the Smart Circuit. It runs about a 1.2 mile circle connecting the Smart Columbus Experience Center to COSI, to the newly opened Veterans Memorial Museum and Bicentennial Park. So we're learning about this new technology. And in fact, but what I think is neat about the way Columbus is approaching this work is that we're not deploying this new technology just for the sake of deploying new technology. We're really trying to learn how we can use it to help people solve true transportation challenges, which I could do a whole, show about. So I'll stop there. I won't stop there. I'm going to say one more thing. It's a bigger piece around Columbus, though. I get asked a lot about why did we win the challenge? And there's a number of reasons why we won, but one that I want to focus on for today's audience is that we approached applying for and implementing the grant in what we call the Columbus way. So in Columbus, we're known for public, private, academic, nonprofit sectors coming together to solve real challenges for the community. And that doesn't happen in every city. Okay. And so I think the fact that those sectors can come together, although we all have very different missions and values and operating structures, that we can put all that aside to do good work for the city. And so that's a big reason why we won the Smart City Challenge. It's how we got the crew to stay in Columbus just recently. That was not only the private sector or the government. That was all sectors coming together and working in the Columbus way, which provides a great foundation for students and interns and employees to learn about different sectors and different models of innovation and making things work.
Yeah, to give context about that, the Columbus crew, there was an opportunity or a challenge that they might move away. And there was this big initiative called Save the Crew.
Yes.
And just like you said, private, public, all these sectors came together.
Residents, grassroots. I mean,
it was amazing. Mm-hmm. And that movement started here. Ohio and Columbus specifically has a lot of examples of, the little guy, going and making a big splash. And that was like a really cool movement to, one, be a part of and to actually see. And then, of course, we all freaked out when it actually happened. That's awesome. So that is fantastic. And thank you for sharing that. I see you winking. We're going to get jetpacks. Is that what you're saying? The initiative is eventually top 15 residents get jetpacks. That's what I hear. So cool. You heard it here. First and foremost. That's awesome.
Great.
What else can we talk about in terms of a Columbus experience?
Ooh, I have a question.
Ooh.
So I'm from Cincinnati, and I love Cincinnati. I always joke, it's a joke, that if Capital was in Cincinnati, I would be unstoppable. And I think part of that is I haven't truly given Columbus a chance. I don't go downtown very often. And so my challenge to you is to sell me on Columbus. So as a student, and these people would become students, what does Columbus have to offer for us?
So I'll jump in quickly. John, you mentioned the little guy in
Yes.
Columbus, that we have power behind the little guy. We also have the big guy and gal. You know, we have corporate headquarters here that are huge and offer points of entry to young people of all fields of study, right? We have Wendy's, White Castle, The Limited, Express, Nationwide, Huntington, Cardinal Health. I mean, think about the vast span of that industry.
Yeah, a lot of cities have them. Or wait, are you saying their headquarters are here?
Their headquarters are here.
Boom! What? Okay, sorry, I just hype guy over here.
Yeah, of course. And then, you know, we also have an incredible foodie scene. I just saw that Food and Wine magazine listed Columbus as an up-and-coming city. And the name of the article, which I loved, was "This Midwest City is Stealing a Lot of Great Talent from New York and California." And so that's right here in Columbus. And then you go downtown and you go to the North Market, and it's amazing. And it's also manageable. You can
Right.
park. You can afford to eat there. You see your friends and your family and your neighbors. And it sums up Columbus in a lot of ways. And the other thing I'll mention is, I hope this is right. I did a little bit of digging, and it looks like kind of the average age of the professional in Columbus is in their early 30s.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all.
So if you think about going to college and graduating from college, you are working with, among, for more or less your peers. And I don't know, to me, that would feel really good.
Yeah, it's incredible. I mean, I've lived here for quite some time. It's Columbus to me is part logistical miracle, part startup mecca. I mean, how many startups are here just because of the opportunity and the connections that they have already. And it's growing so rapidly, but I could go on for days about the breweries and the food things. I don't know what it is, and I'm not wanting them to stop, but more and more breweries come here, and then more and more eateries, craft, really cool, unique places to eat and drink come here, and they're like, hey, check this out. Here's a new way to experience this. And I'm like, yes, keep going. I love it. So
Indeed.
I don't know, Brandi.
I mean, I think the conversation that's been taking place just goes to demonstrate the plethora of ways to make a living or get involved in the city of Columbus. I mean, it's so broad. So there are great corporate headquarters you could work for. It's also a great place to start your own business or to do something very unique and different. You know, I would say, generally speaking, I believe Columbus is in the midst of a major transformation, and not just around the smart city stuff, but we are reinventing ourselves to be the city of the future. And whether that has to do with how we move or how people work or how we live, which is all slowly but surely changing, we're getting to invent that future for ourselves. And I think that's an exciting opportunity. And so for anyone to be here, whether it's as a student or an employee or a business owner, you get to be part of that.
Right.
Columbus also, I would say, is very much, has a very philanthropically minded, civically minded populace. And that's residents, that's businesses, that's organizations, that's nonprofit. So to be able to be part of making the city a truly great place to live, whether it's through your individual volunteer efforts or what the organization you work for does on a regular basis, is a phenomenal opportunity.
Yeah.
I'll also say there's a quote in City Hall that I walk by on a regular basis, and it reads, "The spirit of its people is the soul of the city." And that has always resonated with me because I think cities do have souls. And they are comprised of the spirit of its people. And I think the spirit of the people that are in Columbus, whether you've always lived here like me or whether you have come here from somewhere else, it is a really special aspect that makes up that soul, that provides the heartbeat of the city that you don't know or experience until you either visit here or move here or have lived here.
And it's quite an amazing experience. I have a couple of friends that are from all over the nation and internationally. One of the just few key elements, in addition to all of this, we're just heaping on all of the benefits of this wonderful city. Tailgating if you've never experienced tailgating, we take it to the professional level here. You will get really good at tailgating and cornhole at the same time. If you don't know what cornhole is, just come to Columbus. It's going to be great. Some other things that are just unbelievable that when you experience it for the first time, maybe you're in a suburb around Columbus, or maybe you're coming from the West Coast and you're like, I'm going to experience this. The Thurman Burger. Have you guys had a Thurman Burger yet?
I've been to Thurman's. The burger's a little bit, I mean, it's big. It's cool.
It's like 15 pounds.
Yeah.
That's
huge.
so much burger.
Oh, it's so great. It's an experience in itself. Everybody who is a true Columbusite, Columbusian,
Sure.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
that person, Seabusian, their favorite ice cream flavor is salty caramel. It has to be from Jenny's Ice Cream. It's so good.
One across the street from Capitol.
Yeah,
There is.
exactly.
I do like Jenny's, and we don't have Jenny's in Cincinnati.
See,
So,
again,
there's a vote
startup
for
that
Columbus.
started here in
That's right.
Columbus. But I want to take the conversation a little bit and gear it more towards Capitol in terms of the administration and faculty here have those connections with a lot of those organizations. That's one of the pivotal and amazing things about Capitol University is its plug into all of those. It doesn't just share a location with those organizations, but actually shares connections with all of those startups and large established corporations because real world experience, right? Connecting students with those kinds of experiences and those connections, and then letting the students take advantage of those opportunities. Do you guys have any examples of something like that in terms of students being able to take advantage of those opportunities?
Well, yeah. I mean, I would say because of Capitol's size, it allows us to be incredibly nimble. If you're a student, and you correct me if I'm wrong, but you're not necessarily going to stand in a queue of 1,000 other students to sign up for a class or to get information about an internship or to find information about what alumni we might have at a company like JP Morgan Chase.
Right.
You know, because of our size, we can get at that information quickly, and we can share it and act upon it.
Right.
And I think that is a huge, huge strength, especially in the city of Columbus.
Yeah. No, it's awesome.
I can attest to that. I get emails like sometimes once a day, but a lot of times once a week from one of the faculty members, specifically my advisor in the film department, of just about certain opportunities around the area of like, you can get a job. And I like have a friend who works at Spectrum News 1 now because of that. So
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't speak to today's environment, except for I do know in my role, any request I get from students from Capitol or quite frankly, OSU, I have a master's degree from Ohio State. I always make time to meet with, talk with, share with students. I think I owe that to, as a public servant, I think as a grad, I owe that help and assistance and advice.
Right.
I'll also say that when I was here, I learned so much, not just in the classroom, but also through being able to be a student leader on campus and be the speaker of the student senate and take on responsibilities that I maybe wouldn't have been able to do at a larger university.
Right.
And I learned things that really helped me as I began my career, which started in the city of Gahanna because my advisor at the time forwarded me a job description for the mayor's office and encouraged me to apply and really helped me make that first connection, which opened up a 16-year career in state and local government.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That's it.
I think it's worth mentioning. I mean, Capitol is very much a school that is known and on the map. And I think a good illustration of that is the number of presidential candidates who have given talks, presentations, rallies on the Capitol campus in the not too distant past. John McCain, Sarah Palin, President George H.W. Bush, Mitt Romney, President Obama was here twice. And we do everything we possibly can to accommodate that because what an amazing experience for this community, for the students, for the faculty, for the staff, for Bexley, for parents.
That's huge.
Yeah. And so marketing can attest to this more than I, but they come to us all the time because they like our campus. It's self-contained. It's safe. it's manageable.
I think it just comes full circle. What did you say? Small town feel.
Big city amenities.
I mean, there it is.
Well,
So,
and your quote from City Hall.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. It's
Beautiful.
awesome. Well, thank you very much. I really appreciate. I always have to look at my producer and just like,
We good?
hey, what did you think about that, Nicole?
Can I
Okay, all right.
can I say one more thing?
No,
And I realize-
actually, we're
no,
on.
Are we
no.
out? Okay.
No. Come on, I want to
I
hear.
know
it.
it's all going to be edited. This might not make it in, but is
Just
there,
a dial to beep.
is there a call-in function? Because I will call in. Like, hi,
Get
this
it
is
on
Brandi. I would be remiss not to talk just for a minute about our mayor's vision for the city, because
No,
I think
would
it's
love
a
to hear
big
that.
part of Capital's part of Columbus. And, we have a relatively young, ambitious, visionary mayor who wants Columbus to be America's opportunity city. And I think that can be applied to so many different aspects of life, and that there are plenty of opportunities to be part of the city, part of making it a great place, part
Yeah.
of learning and growing and developing. And I think, as we look at our smart city strategy, we're implementing it through the core values that the mayor has set out of equity, inclusion, and access. And I think that speaks volumes about the kind of city that Columbus is, and how we make decisions and how we care for each other. And I'm happy to be part of that and proud to be part of that. But I think there's always room for more people to be involved. That's what I hear a lot of leaders that I look up to say, that you don't have to be known in Columbus. You don't have to be from Columbus. You don't have to have connections. As long as you're willing to roll up your sleeves and do the work, you can make a future here and have an impact. And I think that's pretty special.
And tangential to that, Capital lives and breathes these values that Mayor Ginther talks about literally every day. And in fact, we just rolled out a new program called the Good Guarantee, where if you are the child of a nonprofit or public sector worker, teachers, firefighters, any nonprofit employee, we guarantee 50% off your tuition.
Which is crazy.
Yeah,
And
that's
then-
amazing.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
It's an amazing program, very much in line with Capital's values. And then we also have the Bonner Leadership Program, which is a group of students who apply to be Bonner Scholars, and as part of their actual curriculum, their time on campus here, they are graded on this. They do community service, and it's something like 260 hours a year. I mean, it's huge. It's a huge, heavy lift. And it's not painting walls or serving lunch. I mean, that could be part of it, but it's giving advice on business plans.
Wow.
It's taking a hard look at revenue and expense models and working together with the community to make that nonprofit agency as sustainable as possible. And we literally just rolled out the Bonner program and have had great interest in it among students and funders. Huge companies in Columbus have given hundreds of thousands of dollars to fund this program. So
That's
it
fantastic.
speaks directly to what Brandi's
And I think
talking
that
about.
shows that Capital is reinventing itself as the needs of students and the workforce of the future changes, and that's incredibly important to stay relevant.
No, that's huge.
Yeah.
And I think that it paints a really good picture of the opportunities that students could have if they come here. And parents, I hope that you're excited. Maybe you're going to move here, No, don't. That would be too much. Anyways, thank you so much for joining
Thank
us.
you.
We really appreciate it.
Very
This has
fun.
been episode 8 of CapChat, Capitalizing with Columbus. You guys like that title?
That's good.
I did not come up with it. Anyways, thank you all so much for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.